Welcome to Gray Mason Gaming plays Solaris, the Neptune Pride's Player's Guide to Solaris, Episode 5. All good things must come to an end. And we pick up here in Cycle 15, and, well, the shit has hit the fan, hasn't it? This gray section in the middle here is me. And, well, you might notice a lot of lines coming in to my territories. Those would be all the different alliances that I was with that didn't think it was funny that I was in all those other alliances, telling them things. So, here we go. The thinking here is, I don't think there's going to be a way out. So at this point, I may just shift gears a little bit and focus even more on some of the nuances of Solaris. Before I get to that, I will say, from the time that I recorded the last video to now, I did have a chat with Clear, and I believe him that he did not believe to make me feel the way he made me feel in terms of not being part of the Alliance. Things like, hey, we didn't have a separate chat, and I would have supported you, and there were all justifications, so I very well may have just not properly read the situation. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He seems very sincere and cares a lot about his reputation. He also was pretty pissed at me because he thought this might be his first win, and now I blew it for him. That being said, if he really thought that, he probably could have talked to me before he opened up and attacked me. Because I actually wasn't sure I was going to actually side with Karmadrome, especially the way they were acting. So, like, it could have still worked out. But I get it. Like, I totally get, like, why he would be pissed and just attack me. I was a bad boy. So let's just get into it then. Yeah, Ragu, taking all my stars. And up here, I'm just giving. I'm giving because Ragu's one of the newer players, and I don't think a threat to win because they're just learning. So me powering them up will make it harder for Karmadrome and Clear to win. And I think that's probably good. Now I lost some stars up here. I'm going to continue losing stars, although I do have a little bit of I have a little bit of power. Where is this coming here? Yeah, I got like 3,100 ships. Another 1,000 here. So I've got a nice build up here. I'm going to lose all these to Chibi, lose all these to Ragu. I'm going to lose some more of these to Karmadrome. And yeah, I'm just going to lose everything. So, but now that we're late game, you look at, I have 45 tokens that I'm not using well. But I wanted to show you a couple things. So this thing here is a telescope array, +3 scanning, -3 combat. If you look at the difference here, like look for this star, right? This star goes all the way out here. Now my scanning at this point is level 13 scanning, so it's pretty good. But comparatively, right? So I had this. It's getting this entire extra section. Which is amazing. Now you would probably, I don't know if you'd really put it on your border like this because of the negative weapons adjustment, but it really is. That's some powerful stuff. Another thing I did over here, so I have the Warp Scrambler, and then I have the Scrambler, which prevents people from knowing how many ships are on here. So we know. I have, 1,144. But to them, they only see the 46 plus this thing. They have no idea. Just like I'm looking at theirs, and they have, like, this much. So it's a great way to hide your true power. And the other thing that I noticed is, I had been looking at, like, the power of Clear. And using Nebula to hide your strength, I was doing it. I had no idea. He was my ally. I had no idea. He had 5,000 ships sitting in this little spot. 5,000 ships right on my border I had no idea about. So again, you can do some really cool stuff. Now, when you look at the stats, It's deceiving. So like even right now, right? Like before I lost all my vision, I had pretty full vision of everybody, and so I had a sense of things. But those nebula and those different ways to hide your power really is unique. You can't do that in Neptune's Pride. So this is definitely something you can play around with. And then, so this is a fixed weapon game. They're not all like this, but one thing that happened, so okay, he had a warp scrambler. Well, I built, and I'll show you here, you know, what you could build. I hired a specialist that was a, where is it? Warp stabilizer. So basically, this neutralizes the little mushrooms. So I can use their warp gates too. And then it doesn't do any adjustments to weapons. But so I decided we've been playing back and forth here, Clear and I'm finally like, you know what? Let me go in and just attack Karmadrome. And what Karmadrome did, which is, you know, what you do is you use your tokens in this way. And he built on here, he had a general, then he built a saboteur, so that's +3, -4. So that's a 7-weapon swing in a 7-weapon game, right? So now he's at 10, I'm at 3, and I attacked with 1,200 ships. And it's scrambled, so I don't know how many were there to begin with. I'm sorry. On this ship it's scrambled. Yeah, so, you know, there's a lot of ways to hide your power, and you really need to pay attention. But even still, like, there's only so much. It's a big map. So that is just an interesting, you know, I still have no idea, like, is that almost dead, or is it he's still got like 5,000 ships there? No idea. No idea. I'm doing a little bit of that, but not as well as these guys. What are some other things you can do? Let's take a look. You already saw this gives you an orbital cannon +1 defender bonus. And by the way, someone pointed out in my videos, like, ooh, how ugly that is. See, like, this is all the information that you may want on a star. You can go into the settings if you don't like it, the UI style, and you can say, just go compact. Just show me the compact settings. And then when you click on this for the stars, it's just this. And people are like, oh yeah, that's what I like. For me, it's kind of helpful seeing all that other stuff, but, you know, here, build the warp gate, build, you know, upgrade. Actually, I probably could get used to this. Anyway, so there's a lot of settings. If you just click on this gear and go in here, you can change a lot. So I would say go ahead and play around with it a little bit. I think I did show the bulk upgrade, the diplomacy, the ledger. So I owe Scott paid a lot. I don't tell you. Look, Rainbow Warriors owes me money. Clear owes me money. Look at this. Forgive this player. So Clear, I forgive you. I forgive you for attacking me. Quarantined, I forgive you. We are friends. Rainbow Warriors, we are forgiven. We are all good. There's no hard feelings. So anyways, you can do that. So what are some other cool things you can do? Let's look at this guy here. No specialists. I'll click on here. So +1 scanning, +2 terraforming, +2 manufacturing, +3 terraforming. The defender bonus. So make it so only you can use a warp. Prevents other people from seeing how many ships are on your star. All of them, regardless of the type. A research station, so each star's scientific infrastructure counts ×2. So if you're at a 3, it counts like a 6. The +3 orbital array, the world builder. So this world builder, so remember I had the world builder. I think it's Bad Musician has a bunch, but one of the other differences I've noticed between Neptune's Pride and this is, in Neptune's Pride, like in the 64-player games, you have to just be constantly growing and growing. And if you go a couple cycles without growing, you're basically falling behind because somebody somewhere is going to be. This game doesn't seem to quite be like that. It seems to be a little bit more defensive and people building up. And I don't know if it's just the math on how the battles work out, because you can use the specialist to really swing battles pretty heavily, but it tends to favor a more defensive gameplay. And if you're going to turtle down, you can build a world builder. And let's say you have 3 world builders going. Well, every cycle, every 20 ticks, they're going to grow another 20 natural resources. So it's almost like every tick you're gaining 3 more stars because you can upgrade them for a cheaper amount. And so it's a way, if you turtle and you get enough of a territory, like Rainbow Warrior down here, he's really, really big. Like, he's really strong, and he hasn't been just non-stop growing. So it's just an interesting little different way that this game can be done, that you wouldn't be able to do in Neptune's Pride, where if you turtle in Neptune's Pride, you're just screwed. There's a trade port. Turn your infrastructure into economy, and then you saw the other stuff. Is there anywhere that I'm safe to show you that? Let's just do it anyway. Okay, there we go. 18, right? So this was my world builder I had to convert, and it has on it a space dock, so I'm getting +2 manufacturing. Which probably is more important. We're gonna, this for the video, we're gonna go and we're gonna switch this over to a trade port. So the economic infrastructure is ×2. It's gonna be ×2 the economy production and add scanning. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Anyway, it could be good. So what are the other things you can do on the carriers? We could do the plus weapons, the faster, other weapons, actually this is a carrier speed. The +3 range is really nice early on. Don't really need it now. Scrambler, the stellar bomb. We don't have dead stars, but there can be. There's a specialist on that this would bring it back to life. Oh, Siege Breaker. I think I did. Yeah, I think I did do that just to show you guys. So basically, I have 723. I'm like, let's go ahead and try to blow them up. So in 3 hours, of course, it's going to give me +4 weapons, but it expires after a certain amount of time. So that's kind of cool. Neat little thing you can do. It gives you, and it's only 3 tokens, so it's cheap. So you can, for a very cheap amount, get a big blast. I saw these other guys that are more veteran than I doing that to me early on, and it worked really well. Oops, wrong thing. Yeah. And then the most expensive things, you got the Saboteur, which is the -3 weapons that the enemy. So if you have like a +1 and a +2 and a +3, those don't add up. You only get one carrier that gives plus and one carrier that gives minus, and they don't stack. So that's important to know. So if you have a +5 a destroyer, that's it. That's all you get. You don't get also the general +3. So yeah, I mean, I think that's probably good. Yeah, I'm gonna die now. I'm dead. Like I'm dead. And then this is all gonna be dead. Everyone's just like little sharks, little piranhas, in the ocean, just eating up the last remnants of my stars. So yeah, let's go through some of the other changes here between Neptune's Pride. And one thing I mentioned, but I want to expand on a little bit, is this thing called Flux. So Flux is something that affects all the official games. So the 32-player games, there's 8-player games, anything. You can always do a custom game that doesn't do these, but at the beginning of each year they come up with a list here, and here's this 2023's list, and we're in. This game was created in July, so the weapon technology was fixed at 7, which is part of the reason why the game played out like it did. Next month, the defender bonus is disabled. Then production cycles are shorter. The number of specialist bands are increased. So every month, this keeps it fresh, and it requires you to have a core understanding of the game, but then also gives, for people that have played it more, a little bit more nuance to how like each game is going to continue to be different and different. Okay, so if we go into the August flux, so in addition to the Defender bonus going to be disabled for all these upcoming games, this month there's going to be Star, Carrier, and Special Stars. So Star Specialists, Carrier Specialists, and Special Stars, 3 of each will be banned. And I think it's random. So atmospheric processors, telescope arrays, Stargates. So Stargates are those things that you saw in the video where we had like 50 tokens, 25, 25, and you opened up a new wormhole. That's gone. Telescope array is what I showed you, +3 scan. That's gone. Atmospheric process, I think this adds terraforming. Okay. The generals will be gone. The Stellar Bomb is gone, and the Plunder is gone. So these are different types of carrier specialists. So we saw a lot of the general. We didn't use a Stellar Bomb, but those, there's certain specialists that allows you to, the War Machine, where it adds a ton of defense and manufacturing, and then it eats away one of the natural resources each tick, and then it's a dead star, and I use a Stellar Bomb to make it a live star again. So you'll be able to, in this month, use a War Machine to destroy your star, but not the Stellar Bomb to bring it back. And then specialty stars. So the next game this month, they won't have wormholes or binary stars. So again, just something else that's going to affect all of the upcoming games. And like you saw from the wiki page, you can see what's coming up each month in terms of what the known changes are, but then the bans on the different types of specialists and different types of stars, that'll be random and announced in advance. So again, just you can't get set on, oh, well, I always build this way. I mean, you can, but then your thing that you rely on may not be there, and that's cool. So back to the game here with Kusi. I'm a little sad that I'm not going to make it to the end to be able to really show you how this one pans out. JC is going to give me a star, so I'll survive and basically become a vassal. I will give him my money, my tokens to help him survive, which is what you should always do. You should never just quit out of a game. Help out the people that have helped you. We are cycle 18, and a strange series of events happened today. You'll see a lot more check marks over here. Another difference with Neptunes Pride to Solaris. And I'm a little on the fence on this one. At first I loved it. Now I'm not so sure. There's a thing called ready to quit. So right now you can say I'm not ready to quit. So where's Gray Mason. There's not a check mark. But if you're like, you know what, this game's over, and if all live players do ready to quit, are you sure you want to declare this? If all active players declare ready to quit, then the game will end instantly. And so why would you do this? Well, in Neptune's Pride, you'll get games where everyone knows who's going to win, and they know the order it's going to be, and either the person first has to get the number of stars required, which sometimes could take a whole another day or two, or you can quit from the bottom up, which in all my games I don't think I ever saw happen. There's always like one person who's not paying attention, doesn't care, and it always just requires one person to, like, it delays the game, and this is much nicer. However, this is the state of the game we're in, where we have 2 major factions with some other big enough parties that could make a difference still in the game. Like, there's a lot of game to play. To me, like, this is like entering the end game. With my removal, lines got blurred, and they should be now jockeying for supremacy. But instead, all the leaders are saying, oh no, we want to quit now. Now, they're going to tell me why later. They're saying, oh, it makes sense. It only makes sense if you're winning. And even then, I would argue it doesn't make sense. Let's assume Karmadrome's winning. I found out that Ragu was he gifted 8 stars to Karmadrome and Kip. Let's say that puts him over the top. Well, Karmadrome wins, great. But what about the rest of the alliance? Kip gets punished, Ragu gets punished, Rainbow gets punished, Quarantine gets punished because they get a lower ranking than Clear. if you ally with me and I'm going to win, I'm going to delay the game until you get above all the enemies. To me, that's like the way you should play. Your alliance won. And if people don't like it, well, quit. If they don't like it, kill you. Well, they can't kill you. That's why they lost. So I don't. Well, the reason I think that it happens is because the you only get the credit and the badge at first, and the difference in the terms of rank points between like 2nd and 16th is just not significant enough to warrant people pushing it. In Neptune's Pride, you only get rank really for the top 3 spots. So to talk about the podium, right? First 3 spots. In Solaris, the podium's the top 16. Yeah, you get a little bit more, but I don't think it's substantial. Okay, so because of that, there's people much more willing to quit out just to maintain where they're at. They're like, you know what? I'm not going to fight to go from 8th to 4th place. It just doesn't matter. I know I can't get first, therefore I'm as happy with 8th as I will be on 4th. And so it creates a very different end game dynamic, and one that I'm not super excited about because I feel like the games end prematurely when like you fought and you fought and you fought, and then you're just like, okay, yeah, 4th place is cool. I'm like, well, no, it's not cool. I'm not saying anyone on Clear's team should fight him. I'm not saying anyone on Karmadrome's team should fight him. But I feel like Karmadrome and Clear should be fighting for people on their alliance to get above everybody else in the game. That's why you join an alliance. And so maybe there's more to it that I don't get, but anyway. So before all that happened, I was thinking, okay, I'm not much, but let me help JSE. And so I was trying to come up with a plan to help JSE win and get the badge. And I'm like, okay, my plan was, I know that Karmadrome and Rainbow have some bad blood. And so when I spoke with Rainbow, he told me that he's a little salty that Ragu was gifting stars to Karmadrome and Kip. And I'm like, perfect. That's great. When I talked to JSE, I'm like, who are you willing to kill? He's like, I'm not going to attack Clear in that alliance. I'm not going to. He was kind of like very limiting on who he wanted to attack. He's like, they betrayed. They did something bad. Like there's an honor thing, whatever. He's like, the only people he goes, I want to defend my allies. I don't care about winning. I'm like, okay, but who would you attack? He's like, well, I would attack the people attacking my allies. So Quarantine and Rainbow. I'm like, okay, great. That's enough stars. You'll attack those two. So then I'm like, well, but if you attack him, you're too weak. How do I weaken Rainbow and Quarantine? I'm like, there's friction between Karmadrome and Rainbow. So I reached out to Rainbow, and that's when he said, he is even more upset with Karmadrome for getting stars from Ragu. I'm like, this is perfect. So now I out this, and then Ragu admits in public, and now I tell Clear about this. Now Clear's upset. I'm like, this is great. So they're all sitting here marked, ready to quit. And then all of a sudden, they're like, nope, you know what? Maybe we do want to fight because they're playing dirty. So, great. My goal is to get JSE to win. And to get JSE to win, I need Karmadrome to attack Rainbow Warriors in Quarantine. And then I need Clear to be attacking Karmadrome. I'm trying to stir the pot. I'm effectively dead, but I'm still fighting. I spent an hour talking to people, trying to get them upset with each other to fight, because that's what good allies do. You help your team, and JSE is the only one capable of winning still. And I'm like, it's an uphill battle, but at least there's a chance. And my thought is, if Karmadrome and Rainbow attack each other, JSE can then come in and attack Quarantine and Rainbow, who will be distracted by Karmadrome, and maybe to spite Karmadrome, they gift JSE the stars. It's possible. You can work it if you do it in an honorable way. Then they're fighting and duking it out, and you just kind of keep kind of peeling back the onion, keep kind of looking for the next little notch, the next little crack in the armor. And finally, they, before you know it, you don't have to win by more than one. And if they're on, let's say, 70 stars, he's at 50. It's not as many as you would think. So that was my plan. And so I didn't have a request to quit on, and then everyone freaked out. And then I finally, you know what? If you all aren't gonna fight for it, then I'll just move on. So, but then after all that rigmarole and Clear made a big deal about me not doing it right away, even though Ragu never did it, Chibi started taking stars from JSE's alliance, which he's like, now he's not ready to quit, and it's gonna keep going. Which is honestly, I want it to keep going because I think it's a really lame ending if everyone kills me and then just quits with wherever they're at. Why did you even bother? Why do you even bother killing me? And if you don't care, I even said, if you don't care what your rank is, then give up some of your stars to me, because I would like to go up in the rank. I would absolutely. Right now I'm 16th. I would much rather be 15th, 14th, 10th, 9th. Give me some stars. So so that's where we're at. Like I said, I like the ready to quit because it's a quality of life issue improvement, but I don't like that it's used as a weapon. That it's used as, if you don't do it, then the whole universe attacks you, and I don't like it because it promotes your enemy, who is your biggest competitor, to get second place over your allies, which I just think is wrong. And I go back to Broma Sheeting's landing where I won, and look at this. Who were my allies? Vassal Empire, who was CRISPR, Rubber Ducky, Raz, Phantom, Monarch, JSC. These were all people that I were allied with. Parallax was the top enemy. Limiting Factor was with me, and then we're down to, Joe Diggity was a guy who filled in for 7 stars. So I made sure my entire alliance was above the enemy, and it took an extra day. So what? Help your team. This, where you just quit, not a fan. So we'll see how it plays out. But I think that's something, if you're coming over, to be aware that the politics and the meta right now around people quitting, honestly, right when the end game's starting, I think is a little bit unfun. We'll see if it changes, and if enough Neptunes players come over here, we can show them how you play endgame. And with that, the Kusi game is complete, and this will end the series on Great Mason Gaming playing Solaris, with an eye on players who are familiar with Neptune's Pride looking to get into this. Hopefully this was helpful. You'll see one of the things, again, is day 18 and the game ended. Everyone was happy enough with their placement to end it. A little bit of a surprise, Clear won. So, for all the back and forth and unhappiness with me on my betrayal, he ended up getting his first victory, so congratulations to him. Well deserved. Rainbow Warriors, my original ally, second, and quite honestly easily could have won if he wanted. We'll talk about that more in a second. And Karmadrome, who everyone was fearful was going to win, only gets third. So, should, the question I will pose, put in your comments, should oops, I hit the mic. So put in the comments, should Karmadrome and his alliance quit? I'm of the belief that had they continued to fight, they could have secured first place for Rainbow, the top slots for Rainbow, Karmadrome, Ragu, Quarantined, and Kip. I think those could be the top 5. And one of the things that makes me believe that is, you look at Clear with his 56,000 ships. Rainbow had 90,000 ships. Karmadrome had 46. Chibi 53, 37, and not only the number of ships, but he was producing 1351. The longer this game went on, the bigger Rainbow Warriors would get. So this could have been Rainbow's if he would have pushed. But we'll talk about that right now. He was a little hesitant to share too much with me during the game. He said afterwards he would share his whole thought process. It's a little bit here, but let's go through it because I think it's very insightful, and thank you, Rainbow, for doing this. So He said after the last 32-player game with the Extra Dark One, he wanted to play a more conservative game, and he's been busy in real life. He figured that if he went all out on a bad musician, he could have taken the win, and I agree. But I just have too much going on, and I had a good relationship with Raz Musician for most of the game, so I pulled my punches on them. When I launched my massive wave on Raz, I woke everybody up, which is funny because that was only a fraction of my ships, which is absolutely terrifying. But there's the thing. If people know you have ships, they expect you to use them. That's not my style, so I never told my allies my ship count. That said, my defensive line kept Imp, Raz, and Musician from hitting my alliance on the west, so I couldn't use them anyways without opening up the flank of my allies. They didn't see it that way. They saw themselves taking the brunt of the front lines and doing all the work. I saw myself basically boxed in without a mode of expansion that didn't expose both myself and quarantined. My playstyle is also simple. I leech onto one player and ride or die with them, even if I have to carry them. Quarantine was my guy this game, so I followed him to from alliance to alliance, protecting his west and offering tech. I went real heavy on tech from the start, which led people to believe I was bigger than I really was. Granted, I ended large, but that was just methodically chipping away. As for my allies, I never lied, but there was exaggeration when it came to relationships. I never really was at odds with Karma, but I did feel left out of most everything, largely my fault because I didn't join the Discord channels. I'd be attacking and suddenly we're in a non-aggression pack without any warning, and I'm expected to stop attacking. That was frustrating. I was legit upset with Karma over the Ragu star swap and fully set to go all out against him to make sure it didn't happen in future games. But then I told him, and so he stopped. Killed the momentum. We argued and agreed to disagree and ended with a request to quit. The ending would have been the same though. Clear first, me second, so it came down to if Karma would keep taking stars or not. The limited weapon tech in the game made defense and specs more valuable. So I really focused on that. But the first part of the game, my alliance had me doing scanning and range, even though I had the largest signs. When it came to you, I always had a good relationship and never wanted to go to war because of it. My alliance was vicious about it. I've never had issues with that before, so it was surprising. They went as far as icing me out for 24 hours, and that's when you defended Grump for my expansion, and that was enough for me to end my nap. But still didn't want to actively attack you. It's also why I said multiple times to both sides later that we should make the alliance official. But one or both sides wanted to keep it secret. I saw the writing on the wall and started stockpiling ships. When you asked for help, I again deferred to quarantine to pick which direction we'd go. You just lost the coin flip. At the end, I could have just blasted through Imp or Musician and gotten but I got too much crap going on in real life. It's ironic, but I enjoy more chill games where I'm a support guy. A more chill game where I just have double the ships of everybody else in the galaxy. That totally makes sense. Another ding against you, though, is that I knew you were releasing YouTube videos as we went, and so he couldn't be as informative. He said addendum. I never got to gobble up stars, which was what I was accused of, because I had to keep Imp Raz Musician blocked. I feel Kip was getting frustrated, but had I let them through, the whole game would have been different. So then look down here. Look what he had. This 4 clusters of binary stars. They had 20. Like, you rarely see a clump of binaries like this. Was hell to take. The player named Human stacked industry on them and nothing around them. So I just picked off the small stars and let him attack me, trading 1 for 7 every time I built up enough ships to take one. Once I did that, he quit, and then I had to deal with the AI launching 600 ships at me wildly. Long, slow defensive play to finally grab them all. So, and one of the things you'll notice, look, he's like putting all his ships into Nebula. That's where all his clumps. And look at this. 16,700 ships on this side of this wormhole that went up here. If he sent through 16,000 ships, he would have been at 19,000 ships, close to 20,000 ships. He easily, if he wanted to, could have won. So this was Rainbow's game. He played it amazing. Clear got the win. Clear played amazing. I mean, really, and this is the important part about the request to quit. Let's take a quick look here at this. So the game ends. Clear is the winner. Congratulations. Clear gets his 32 rank points. Rainbow Warriors gets his 16. Karmadrome 15. Chibi 14. Professor, what is this? 12, 11, 10. And so the difference between like a couple of rank points is a really who cares thing. I ended up, I ended up getting 15th. So I got two rank points. Who cares? But you know, I barely beat out Ulysses by a star to get the extra one. It doesn't matter. But even if I was up in this level here, it's only 10 more rank. It's kind of, I get why it's not that big of a deal. And then if you look at the people at the bottom, they all went down. This poor guy lost 10 rank points. Also note, the bottom half of the board all have at most double digit. As a matter of fact, none of them ended in double digit rank points. The top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all have triple digit rank points. So clearly there is a learning to this game. People that play it, they get it. And you know, if you're not going to win, the difference between second, third, and fourth just aren't that important. So I think this is an important thing to point out. You do, if you win, get a credit that you can buy icons with. You can buy badges for other people with. That you can also buy those things with real money, but you get them free. 1 credit per win. So there we have it. The good old Gray Mason team survives with 4 stars. Oh, by the way, a shout out to Bad Musician who gave me that 4th star right there. I said, hey, would you just give me one? And that got me the 1 extra rank point. So thank you, a Bad Musician, for that. She was very kind. Everybody else that I asked for that denied me, you bastards. But not a Bad Musician. So I will remember that and repay that in more than just one way. Our friend JSE ends up getting 42 stars. Oh, one other thing to point out. If you go back and you look at where I was on day 4, I had 65 stars. On day 4, I would have ended the game in 4th place. I was so big. The spectator said at that point the next closest person was like half my size. I had a spectacular, glorious start. I think in retrospect, I should have joined Karmadrome when he invited me. I should have done it the first or second time. I didn't the first time because I wanted to stick with Rainbow, and the second time because I wanted to stick with JSE. And I feel like I could have played the fence that way more, because I could have worked with Karmadrome to attack Clear's alliance with JSE, and it would have actually been a conflict. And had I done that, I'm sure I would be sitting at the top 3 at least. But, you know, that's not how the game went. The game went where I got massacred. But hopefully this was a helpful, educational, insightful video series for you to watch. And we'll see where we go from here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, click on the link for the next episode. And don't forget to click subscribe for more content.